can you just kind of give me you want to just walk me through what we've done here, Mandy, and just like kind of talk us through the homepage and some of the things that are exciting to you? You know, just I would love to just hear you describe what we have as a final product here.
Yeah, sure. And so, well, first, this isn't actually final, but that's because we have some more exciting things that are going to come out that we already know how to do them, thanks to Terry and the crew. But we just have to wait until we have the time to, complete them the way that we want. But yeah, so I mean, our start, we wanted something that was clean and easy to read and fresh, but not overwhelming, but comprehensive. So, obviously asking for everything, but but I think that, the colors that ended up, I mean, we didn't have to go back and forth a lot on the basic, setup of the homepage and of the site. I think our biggest question was, when things go from a computer to a mobile, there's that big kind of transition and realizing that we're setting it up on a computer because it's kind of a big project, but 90% of or I think we've seen at least 70% of our viewers are going to be looking on mobile. So it's really important to keep that mobile piece in mind while we're doing it. And that was a good reminder from you guys. So yeah, so not to do too much here. And then also the easy way to check and see what it looks like on mobile is fun. And yeah, so those are our big features. Were, having these features that we could easily switch out. The events being really accessible and easy for everyone to see was another piece that we really wanted. And the exciting, and also this is another thing that was huge for us was, and now it's not working. Let me see.
What's that?
Got to add this to the list.
Okay.
That's interesting. So here's something that's fun. So when I'm at the homepage, right, and I go to events and happenings, watch this page.
Well, your calendar's not.
See, the calendar's not in the center. It's off to the side. And also there's not the big ad that we put. So now watch it. It's the calendar's at the top, what we want. And this right here is how they can click to submit their own event.
Oh, that looks nice. Those are good buttons.
Which is huge.
Okay.
Yeah, we want that. So I don't know why those two were different. Yeah,
those look like two different pages, so we're going to want to make sure they link, right, Terry? I mean, those.
Yeah. Yep. There. We'll fix it.
Okay. So it's just a matter of linking.
I actually know how to do that. I can go back and change. I'm assuming all I'm going to have to do. Actually, I can't do that, Terry, because you guys added that events and happenings link, so I don't know where that is to change the actual URL to it. So I will leave you. I will leave that on your list.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, then people can easily, submit their event, add all the information they want, and it automatically, populates on our side, and we just have to approve it. So it saves us a ton of time, which is very exciting for us.
Now, when you're entering events right now, right? Or okay.
Yep.
So do you use the form or do you just use the back end?
I've done both, and actually I was using the form, and that's where I didn't discover that the back end had a piece that was missing that I just told Terry about this morning. And I was like, oh, the back end is actually worse than the form. The form's a better version.
Oh, you didn't have the right plugin access? Is that what it was?
It's missing the virtual field. We have a virtual option on the form, but for some reason on the back end, it's not listing virtual as an option.
Ooh,
so I just have to fix that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I got it. Man, this is just the nicest looking site I've seen in a while. I mean, really, these ads that you have. Did you create that? Help us launch? I mean, I just love it.
I actually did all those. So.
Yeah, these graphics are really nice.
I have zero formal training, and so I mean, but I did work in advertising when it's a small local newspaper. I was a circulation manager, but I also did HR. I sold ads. I did. You kind of do it all. I did layout, but yeah. Now I'll do even more. But
right. Okay, so Monadnock
to help us launch. It links to.
It's okay, cool. Okay, gotcha.
I guess the nonprofit, so that people can donate and it's tax deductible. So that's something that one of the other hyperlocal sites in our state told us about, and she with, which as you see, we already got one donation. So
Nice, nice,
we have
very
not even really made an announcement that we're here yet. We're just
right. Oh yeah, we're still in the soft launch phase, even though we're kind of getting into the swing of things. So looks
yeah.
very nice.
So we get the news, submit about, I mean, and submitting a community post is another one that people can, you know, that's where they can just submit news tips. And then the business directory is also, once we get people populating this guy, that'll be really fun. So we did another thing here, added this where they can click to add their free listing and get some businesses. We've just got to do the reach out, send the email out to a bunch of business owners in the area, which we know, and get that going. But
can you click on that link really quick? I'm curious, can I see the form that they fill out?
so this is what we did it. So we did, we got 3 options. So they have the free one, or do it yourself with a one-time fee of $50. It gives them more photos and more words. Or for $250, we'll write the photos and we'll write the profile and take some photographs for your business. And
Right.
so once they
Cool.
decide, then they can submit it. And Jack created this lovely conditional form for us that, you know, once they do that, they switch to the free, and then it adds more words and more photo options.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Yes.
You know,
So
this one is the 250, let us do the work, and they fill out a whole bunch more. So yeah.
That's awesome. Oh man, you guys have really made the most of those forms. I mean, pretty much every application that I've seen, you're doing all at once here, right at the get-go. Events, directory.
Awesome. And then also advertise, we're doing it here too. So here's our pricing. And then this was created by Terry. Remind me who created.
Yeah, Rachel. Yep. She redid
nice.
this. Mandy and Megan suggested having the mobile view right next to the desktop view, which I thought was really smart.
Yeah, right. Yeah. As she said, it's on the front of their mind, so that makes sense. Okay, very cool. Yeah,
and then they can just put their contact info down here, and it's the same form where they can put the contact info in, upload their ad, and pay for it.
Wow, you've actually done this. Yeah, we've seen a few people do like versions of this, but not really like a fully self-service where they can actually upload a graphic that maybe they used somewhere else or they used in the past with you guys. So that is super cool. I love it.
Well, if you aren't sure how to do it, you can email us, and then we'll either help you create the ad or create it for you. Or if you want something beyond my capabilities, we can refer you to a local ad designer, and you can pay them. Because
I love that you offer to go and take pictures of the business. I think that is just a great service. That's so exciting.
Yeah, Megan loves to do that. So
yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Well, it's an interesting opportunity to go in there and get some FaceTime with the business. You know, you accomplish more than just getting the listing, I think, by having that personal touch. It's really nice.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, and then the news is the same kind of thing. Submit a post. So we've got that. You know, basically just news tip, press release. We just found out we need to add something in here that says if you're telling us about an event, click here to add the event directly to the calendar, because the couple press releases that we got were for events, and now we're like, ugh, now we have to go add it to the calendar ourselves. We're trying to make it as DIY as possible.
Yeah, right. Linking forms. Yeah. Well, these things, you can't think of everything ahead of time. So, we'll just keep molding it, and sculpting it to get it right where we want. Yep. Okay, very cool. So it sounds like, I kept hearing about these meetings and the progress that was going on. And so it sounds like, do you have any feedback for us on the whole prototyping and launch process? Anything that we could do better?
Nothing. I've been offering feedback as we go, I think, but there's nothing that like sticks in my mind. I'm pretty much the kind of person where I'll tell you right away if something doesn't dive. But I do think that the biggest piece of it, especially for Megan, who, like, I've set up sites before, I have implemented systems before, I've done system implementations on lots of different things, so I'm familiar with the process. Megan is not. And so
Right.
for her, the biggest thing was that that you guys were very responsive, like that she could email and know that within 12 hours, 24 hours, she got a response back, or that it was just changing on the site. So it was like a little frustrating for her at the beginning, because she'd be like, I'm working in it, and all of a sudden it's changed. And I had to kind of remind her at the very first week that it's going to, like, they didn't finish everything that we had on the list before turning it over to us. And that's normal. She kind of expected that all of the stuff that we had talked about would be done before we had access to it. And she got frustrated that it wasn't. Right. Again, like, I understand how it works. And I was like, no, Megan, they're not going to have it all done before that. You know, it's a process that we're all going to do together. And she's like, but they should have it all done before, you know. And so, maybe explaining to someone who isn't familiar with an implementation that, like, listen, we understand that we have not done everything on your list yet, but we're working on it, and, you know, we'll keep posted.
That's good feedback. Very good feedback.
That is helpful. Yeah, it's all about, to me, setting the expectation, and she had just a different expectation than what, you know, we do. So yeah, just maybe just up front telling people this is, you know, really just a rough draft. It is just a first draft. We're still working on implementing all the things from the form, but we wanted to get it to you as soon as we can. Some people, they're like, no, I want to see it when it's done. So that's good. You know, there's different types, you know. Some people want to see it as soon as possible.
And I mean, it was also really, really helpful to have you know, people in on the meetings who have worked on other people's sites and could give us, like, there was a couple things like this business directory listing kind of thing. Like, we had a vague idea, but you know, having Rachel throw that template in there for us with the map, I mean, that's amazing. Like, you know, we kind of had that somewhere in our mind, but she just, like, made it happen in an instant. Was like, oh yeah, I did this for somebody else. How's that look? And we're like, that's incredible.
Nice.
You know, so, you know, having people who understand the news business, who understand how other sites are doing, and are working with other people currently, was huge. Yeah.
Well, that actually leads me to one of the questions I always like to ask in these post-launch interviews, which is, why did you guys first contact our hometown, and what made you decide to end up going with us when you did? Was it because we only work with newspapers, or was it because we're on WordPress? Was it, you know, anything else in?
I mean, I think it was a combo of those two things up front, because, like I said, our old site was built on WordPress, and so Megan was familiar with posting articles. She liked how it worked. But our old designer was someone who we were their only news client. Right. So we would try to explain things to them, and they'd do stuff, and we're like, what are they thinking? You know, because it just didn't make sense from a news point. And so I was kind of looking, and I mean, yeah, it does make sense as well. And it's, having news clients be your only, I mean, that's giant right there, because we don't entirely know what we're doing. And so to have a community that, you know, understands, and that we can get ideas from, and collaborate with and stuff like that is huge.
Well, that's good
language.
Yeah, we speak the same language. Yeah, we keep hearing that over and over. So I just always want to ask if that's your experience. And we're really trying to put together this community. Have you been getting, this is just a general follow-up, have you been getting our newsletters?
I don't think I'm on the list, and that's a good question. I think Megan is, and she's been forwarding them to me once in a while. But I also saw Terry just pointed out to me where they exist on the dashboard over here. So right here.
Right. Yeah.
So I can always look here. But
I'll make sure that we get you on the list. I thought I added you, and sometimes, honestly, though, they go to spam at first.
Oh, okay.
So you may want to just check that, but
check it first, because you might have, and I just maybe haven't.
Well, it could have been missed, but I just want to make sure that you're getting that, because that is the you know, how we plug everyone in together and share the ideas. Because honestly, you know, not to sound negative at all, but I don't think anyone really knows everything, you know, what they're doing. Everyone's kind of focused in different areas. So, you know, some people are more about subscriptions, others are more about operations or advertising. So everyone kind of has their own specialty, and then we kind of have these interviews and then just try to share it with everyone. so
yeah,
that
no possible way to know everything, and there's too much in here.
right.
Someone
Right.
says
It's funny during our office hours, like today, I was barely even introduced to coupons, so I was the guinea pig today. You know, here I am, and
Right.
I don't know what's going on, so I'm the one with a million questions.
Right. Yeah. So.
And then the other answer to your question, Matt, is that the pricing, the a la carte pricing, that we could choose what we wanted to start out with, and that there's opportunity for us to build as we start making money. You know, that we didn't have to start with the price tag of all of it, because that would have been challenging for us.
Right.
So, yeah.
Sure. Yep. I remember that. Yeah. We just said.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We just decided what are the critical things, you know, initially. I forget, are you guys planning on doing an app down the road, or what were some of the things that you're thinking of adding?
Yeah, and actually, Megan, we're thinking of that. That's going to be, you know, hopefully very soon. Like as soon as we,
cool.
Yeah, that's going to be like maybe even before the end of the year.
Right.
That's a big one for her. She's very, very passionate about the app, and
nice.
And yeah, so I think the fact that, like I said, we've already got one donation, and we haven't even asked anybody yet. So we're hoping that once we start sending out emails to our contacts, we can actually start to get some money in, and then add the app right away.
Right. Okay. Now let me ask you this. So you got your emails. Is there any other things that you're planning to do to market this new site, like on social media or any other platform at all?
We are, but I mean, I think the biggest thing that we have a plan in place for, and this was one of the things that Terry told me to mention to you, is you know, we're using our personal contacts, and we're going to hit the ground. You know, we're hitting the road. So, you know, Megan's been a reporter and a photographer and an editor in this region for 15 years, for 2 different newspapers, and so she knows all the right people in all these towns. And she's done this before when she switched newspapers. So she's like, it's going to take me a couple months, but I get my list and I start at the top, you know, and I go to all these towns, and we're really close friends with the librarian here in Peterborough, which is one of the kind of anchored towns. And they have a librarians association where all the libraries in the region get together once a month, and they present to each other and they talk about different things. I've presented to them before, so I know that they would welcome me back. And you know, we want to incorporate the local libraries to try to get the news people, like the community posts, like people sharing their news with us for all these little towns that don't have any other place to put their news. And lately, I'm sure that this is happening everywhere, but in our small towns, they all have Facebook groups. All of the towns have these Facebook groups, and they're turning toxic, and people are just losing their minds. And so that's kind of going to be this is a place where you can share your local news and not fear that someone is going to post something negative and ruin it.
Right.
We want you to tell us what's happening in your town, and you don't have to worry like, oh gosh, if I write this, then somebody else is going to come back with an opinion. And it's like, no, it's you can't comment on our stuff, at least on the site. We're not having comments enabled. We're not doing it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, really what you're doing is trying to kind of tap into the community and the community audience content that Facebook has, you know, obviously kind of dominated in, but they've lost all control of what, you know, is actually out there. There's no way to manage the volume. So you're on a smaller scale. You can actually act as, you know, editors and decide what actually goes up on the site. It's not just, you know, everyone self-publishes. So, and you're approving all those listings. So yeah, I mean, it seems like you're combining the best of both worlds. We've kind of swung in this other direction from like, you know, no, we're not publishers. That's what Facebook says. We're not publishers. We're a platform. That's not going to last long term. So I think you're going to see more of those groups swinging back, like you guys have, to their own site that they actually, you know, manage and control.
And then, you know, with a lot of little towns, it's just a lot of them feel left out and lost. I mean, we've got basically in this whole region, there's 40 towns in one city, and there's 2 newspapers that are official news publications, and they both have a paywall. They're both subscription. And so, like Megan was just telling me today, she's like, there's 131,000 people in this region. 2,000 subscribe to the Peterborough paper, and 7,000 subscribe to the Keene paper. Where's everybody else going? Like, you know, they don't can't access it, and so
Yeah.
it's
Right. No, that's a huge advantage to be coming in here. You're a a lightweight publication in the sense that like you don't have all these overhead expenses that a lot of newspapers have. So you can afford to do that free model and just run on advertising. I think that is a good model forward for online only publications for sure. I think
yeah.
you guys will make it work. And
I
you
know I've seen schools of thought on both, but this is
right,
what we and this is what we're sticking with. So
right. Okay, very cool.
Andy, this is a good time to talk about the feedback that your librarian gave you.
oh yeah, so when I sent her, I did say because I had told her that we were, we've told a few people, it was like I said, Megan's been being laid off from the local newspaper. There's been some anxiety with how the publisher is going to handle it when she finds out that we're doing this for real, where we're both former employees. So we've been kind of under the radar, but I was including our local librarian in it when I sent her this. I mean, she's young and she's incredible and she's done a lot of great things in this region. But I mean, her instant reaction, she was just like, it's fresh, it's clean, and it's what we need right now. Like, this is amazing. And so we were super excited. And she's very excited to be collaborating with us to help with the content. So yeah.
Outstanding. No, that's great feedback. Okay, so we're already in with one librarian in one town, so that's great.
And
okay.
Powerful one too.
Now, I have just a couple other questions that I just always like to ask. So one more would be just like, how does it feel? I know you worked with Terry a lot, but you also mentioned Rachel, you mentioned Jack. Like when you're emailing us, I guess mainly with email and the tickets, like when we're replying, does it feel like, we know you and like, your whole situation is not your, but like just we remember you and that you're not just like one of 1,000 customers and like a ticket in a queue.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like there's like a personal touch, or do you kind of feel like with the ticket system that's lost?
I mean, I will be completely honest and say that Megan did most of the submitting of the tickets and the emails, but
Sure.
I never heard a complaint from her. Like I said, about it was mostly like, oh, well, I emailed Jack, and she also said that, even though she wasn't expecting emails on the weekends, she would often get them.
Right.
She would get replies, and she's like, and I heard her say that on more than one occasion. Like, I like the fact that they understand that we don't have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule as journalists. Like, we work time at weird hours, and she's like, I think they do the same thing, because I would get emails from Jack at weird hours of the night and like on weekends and different things. And so I remember her saying that. But yeah, I mean, I would be the one that would have heard. I'm her vent, her vent source, and if she was frustrated, she would have let me know, and she never said anything.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I mean, she actually was talking to me about like Jack, like I knew who he was at one point, and I was like, who is this person? Because she got to know him so well over email.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably how I should ask that question. It's kind of awkward when I ask it every time. So it's just like, do you feel like we're on a first name basis kind of thing? And you're not just a customer account number or something, because we really don't want people to feel like that. And we work with about 200 papers, so it's a lot, but it's still manageable, and it's still possible to have that personal touch, we think. And so we're just all about the customer service, just making it as good as possible. So final question. Would you recommend our hometown to other publishers looking to start their own newspaper or online site, or others at newspapers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I was going to say depending on what they want to do, but I can't think of something that you couldn't do for anybody. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I was like, well, unless they want to do this, but yeah, absolutely. I definitely.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, I have been surprised at like the variety of publishers we get. I mean, they're all news publishers for sure, and there's less that have a print publication. But we actually work with a guy in New York City that just talks about like crypto currency, like Bitcoin and stuff. Like, and he is just so out there, but the platform still works for him really well. So we're seeing more of that. But yeah, we're really exclusively, news sites, but probably 99% of them have a paper component, but we're kind of diversifying more and more. So I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah. Yep. And also, I mean, in our decision too, it was nice that there was an option in there for that print thing. Like I said, Megan does want to maybe someday do like a reverse publication of like a quarterly or special or just holiday edition or something like that, where it's more of a supplement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So want to get there eventually, and knowing that you guys have the option, we know it costs money, but the idea of it is to make money. So yeah, but you can do it is the big thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely let me know. That was another thing I wanted to ask you about whenever, you guys want to look at that. But I'm going to absolutely make sure that you get your newsletter and follow up with you on this week, because in the next month in September, we're going to really be talking a lot about reverse publishing. My plan is pretty much every week we're going to have an office hours just exploring different parts of it, and then we'll export all that video so you can watch just parts of it whenever you have time. But I think that'll be good just as an overview, because we didn't really go into the demo. We just kind of talked high level, but this will be the details of how you export it, like step by step.
Nice. Yeah, we weren't ready to use that yet. We're not there yet.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Too much information, so it's coming up. Yeah. Yep.
If it seems like a good time where the revenue is there, where you could go in and say upsell them for a print ad for, hopefully more than what they're paying for digital, or maybe package it with a digital deal. If the revenue is there, then we'll look at it at that point.
And the other fact is that you guys think about revenue. I mean, that's a huge thing, and think about how there's different ways to do it. Because one of the pieces that isn't live yet, but we've got the shell of it in there and we know how to do it, is that we are going to have a page with basically 40 different links to each of the 40 towns, and each town is going to have their own page where their specific stories show up. So people can just go check just their town, and we can solicit sponsors to say, do you want to sponsor your town's page? And that's a whole separate revenue stream of the sponsors on just that one page. It's obviously going to be less money, but again, the functionality is there for us to do that, and we know how to make it happen, and we can do it easily. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very cool. I guess I'm just thinking now about that. Like, you have all these different towns. I wonder, have you thought at all about having different newsletters just for the different towns?
That was how it started, because that was something that Megan was working on when she worked at the other newspaper, and was meeting resistance from the publisher about. But she's like, towns they want their own newsletter, and it's not, no one's doing it right now.
Right. Yeah, people.
For an advertiser, they can be the newsletter sponsor and the page sponsor, and that's 40 different sponsors right there.
Awesome. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm excited. This is just we always do these things post-launch, but I think I'm going to be reaching out to you in a few months as things get rolling, and I'd love to get an update, maybe towards the end of the year or something, and just see how all these packages are evolving, because I think you've clearly got a vision. Now we've already executed the first big step, but then there's just actually launching and really publicizing it now. So this will be exciting. I'm really, really interested to hear your experience with this. So yeah, just let us know if you have, any thoughts, or, you want to share like how this is all going for you, or if, obviously any issues that come up.
Another thing, they're set up using the block editor. So everything that they do, everything they've done since the beginning has been with the block editor. And I just finished telling Mandy that we might actually pull her in for one of our calls, just to show us how she's using it.
Yes. Okay. So that's how you're creating articles, or not pages.
Yeah, she's done pages too.
Oh, that's the only thing that I know. That's why when she was talking about the block editor, I'm like, there's another option? I didn't know that.
No, Megan does the articles. Here's the block editor, and then Mandy has done the pages, like the towns pages and that. Yep.
Okay.
Like this,
very cool.
Yeah. was gonna say I actually like this one, our contact us. So it's kind of like if you're having an event, click here to add.
Yeah.
If you have something to
Right.
say, click here for news. This one was fun with
Right.
the to do. Once I figured it out.
She did it in
Right.
the block editor.
Oh, these are so cool. Okay. So yeah, I know you don't know about the classic editor really, but in terms of the block editor, how it's drag and drop and everything, and it's just kind of a bunch of
Yeah.
plus signs. You add the widgets. It's been pretty easy for you to use once you got familiar with it, you said?
Yeah, and again, I'm not your average someone who's never. I mean, I have other sites and other platforms that aren't news related that are also switching to block editor type things. So I've been using
Right.
it in other ways too.
Okay.
And I am familiar with the classic, like our old website, obviously our old site was in WordPress.
Sure.
And so I did use it
Right.
here, but like once we started using it, at our hometown, we started doing this one, it just block editor was the default. And so I was like, ooh, this is fun.
Right.
I still haven't scratched the surface of all the things it can do, but yeah, it seems pretty cool. Anytime I can dream it, I just look down the list and I find it, and it's like, oh, that's how I can do that.
That's great. Yeah, those WYSIWYG editors, what you see is what you get. I do like those. That's definitely the trend everywhere. What else was I going to say? I mean, those were pretty much all my questions. Oh, the only other thing I noticed on the footer that you're a member of Lion.
Yes.
The local. I forgot about that.
We got to add that to the real footer too. Maybe that's something we'll have to do another time. But yes, that was something. So I mean, we have there is Manchester is the big city in New Hampshire, one of the biggest cities, and there's a woman that Megan used to work with who started her own hyperlocal site maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, and started out pretty much like we are now. And she has taken us under her wing and is like, offering us so much advice and to help us because we're in a different region. She's covering the big city and we're in the rural part. And so she has shared a lot of valuable information with us and different things that we can do. I mean, again, starting out 7 years ago, she kind of found a friend to build her site, and then she's had to change it multiple times throughout there. So we're already kind of way ahead of her in that sense that we found you, and she's a little jealous of us. But yeah, she told us like Lion is, you got to join Lion, and they have lots of meetings like you were like your you like your office hours kinds of things where they have just like they also have conferences and they've got a forum.
Oh,
and got,
they are totally. They seem to be killing it. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow all their events because I'm not a member, but I'm on some newsletter, and I think we're going to join as a sponsor with them as part of their conferences, which is coming up at some point. So yeah, that's good. I mean, so those are local, independent, online news organizations. So it's pretty much all online only papers that are just super innovative. I mean, they're not restrained by the old ways.
Yeah, so I'll tell you that a lot of the ideas that I got for our site, I went to Lion's website and I clicked on Find Our Members.
Okay.
And then there's literally live links for every member of Lion. And I just kept clicking on sites and looking at how they were doing it.
I see.
That's how I spent hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very cool.
So a lot of the examples that we sent you guys were like, this is how Brooklyn's do it. It's because they were a member of Lion and we just saw it on their site and loved it. So.
Awesome. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna definitely look into these guys a little bit more. We have a couple papers that use them or news sites. Okay. Very cool. Let's see what else. Terry, anything else we want to go through right now, or any other questions that you have?
Nope. I just really wanted her to share the feedback from the librarian. I mean,
that's wonderful.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Mandy.
I was just asking Terry right before you joined about like the kind of payment side of it, and I don't know if that's something that I didn't give her a chance to answer before you jumped on. But is that all done through Stripe, or do I have reports I can run out of here? As like, how does Stripe know what people purchased, and all that good stuff?
Right. So for all these different forms, let's see, is there one place that she can go for that? I'm not sure if there's one spot because we're using all these different directories, but I mean, within Stripe, we definitely need to make sure that the form that it came from is somehow recorded so that you can filter. So I'm not super familiar with the Stripe interface, to be honest. I've used it, but I don't know how we would be able to, easily make it so that you could just export a list and then filter and say, these are all the events that were submitted. But I'm sure there's a way. I mean, there's no doubt that the information is going to be sent over. We just need to make sure it's structured right.
Yeah,
So,
and that the proper data gets sent with it, and
that's
all.
right. That's exactly. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I haven't logged into Stripe yet. Megan set it up, and I haven't even looked at what the possibilities are, and so I think we
gotcha.
do a couple test transactions,
Right.
and then I can figure it out. And if not, I can come back and say I need help.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into it anyway. I'll check with Jack tonight and see what notifications and if we can customize anything. I'll find that out for you.
Right. That sounds good. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a unique request, I would say, but not. I mean, I'm sure someone has come across this issue before, so we'll figure it out if we don't already know how to do it.
Well, like I said, I might even be able to figure it out easily myself.
Right.
I just really haven't had it. I just didn't know if you're like, oh yeah, go to this on the dashboard and click there, and there it is.
Right.
I figured it out.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing, we have that really well established with the subscriptions and stuff, but not so much this area. So we'll see what we can do. That sounds good. If you just let us know what you need, we can work it out.
And I mean, the bigger thing is just when someone submits something, is just matching up what they submit with what they pay, where we're trying to get them to do it themselves. So it's like if they upload an ad and they pay for it, can we see when they uploaded it that it was also paid?
Right.
Or do I have to then log in and try to match up the name with the thing? That's all. I guess it's just a matter of like, is there payment?
There is a place on when you go to a form. If you go to one of your forms, one of your paid forms, no, which would be like, let's look at real estate or one of those. Do we have a test?
Oh, you don't mean the entry side of it? You mean on the front end?
No, in the dashboard. Like if you go down to, well, your events are free. Right? No, on the dashboard,
but our
on the left.
About,
Over on the left in the blue.
Right.
Yeah, if you go into one of those that's paid, we can find one of. If we can find one of those forms, like real estate.
Yeah, that's what all these are. These are new ad or business directory listing. Those are both.
Right. What I'm saying is if you go in through the dashboard in the blue area, let's select real estate in the blue area. Do you have any listings in there?
No, because we don't have that set up yet.
Oh, okay.
It's Ad Rotate Pro would be where the ads are.
Where are the, there's a test real estate. Let's go to there's, so click real estate right there. And on the form itself, actually, when someone submits it, at the bottom of the form, there is something from Stripe that says this was paid.
Right, but we're not in the form right now. We're in the real estate.
Well, what I'm saying, this is the form that they submit. So if we click one that was submitted.
I think there's a disconnect here or something, because we need to look at the forms. Let's just look at the forms. Look at the real estate form or something, any one of them, and then look at entry. I think is what.
Oh, entries.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is
Okay. Right. So all the way.
There you go. So these tests, if you open them up and click on it, then it will have all the details.
All the way at the bottom. Yep, there it is.
There. Okay. So
it will be down here. It'll say that it was paid through Stripe. You'll have more than one notification down here. Maybe I could get a screenshot of another site.
Okay, I was going to say, or it's something that I don't. This one is the one that actually has payment attached in the form, but we don't have any entries yet. So, because
right. Yeah, no, let's send her a screenshot because I know what you're talking about now. And
well, and if it's there, I trust you.
Yeah.
And once that comes in, I'll just look for it there. I just didn't know where to look. That was,
Right.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I did remember there is a place that says it was paid through Stripe and it tells you the amount. So I'll get a screenshot of somebody else for you.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So those types of things, those are the things that we'll just keep, going back and forth when you guys start getting the orders. But that would, yeah, you can go in there and you can actually export from the forms all the listings or all the submissions. So if you wanted to just export a whole spreadsheet or something and just see all the payments right there, that would be possible.
Okay. Because we're going to have tons of payments, so I have to keep them all straight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, so many different forms. I mean, yeah, it is a lot. So
most of the forms are free, as only the advertising is that.
Okay, gotcha. Right.
Eventually, real estate. Yeah, I mean, real estate. We're really looking to do that more on the back. Like we're going to kind of do packages on the back end and just say, we're just deciding if we want to deal with realtors directly or go straight to the real estate firm and say, if you want to be this jumbo kind of sponsor, all of your realtors can have unlimited listings.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Definitely.
I was just reading an article about keeping up with things like real estate in real time. Being able to remove a listing as soon as a house is sold and being able to add a listing instead of having to wait, in between editions or once a week or that sort of thing. So,
absolutely. Yeah, dude, houses are going fast right now, around here anyway.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Seriously, awesome. It's weird. Yeah. But
overall, your site's very inviting in every way.
Thank you.
Yep. This is another shining example. So,
creates more
right. Well, thank
you.
I really appreciate you taking the time, Mandy. We've almost talked for an hour here. I didn't even realize this time went by. So we're going to let you go unless you have anything else that you want to share or go over or any other questions.
Nope, I think that was all we had. I'm bad, and I feel bad that Megan missed out on this, but I'm sure we'll do a follow up with you in a few months and give you some really cool updates and make sure she's here.
Absolutely, love it. Yeah, we'll get you both on that one, and we'll schedule it ahead of time. Sounds good, Mandy. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks. Bye, Matt.